Crossed swords, the myth of the eternal sword cross-sword. Long ago, in an age when kingdoms rose and fell like waves upon the shore, there lived a tale whispered across mountains, valleys, and deserts, the tale of the eternal sword. It was no ordinary blade. Legends say it was not forged by mortal hands, but born of the breath of the gods themselves. Its blade shimmered like captured lightning, and its edge was said to never dull, never bend, and never break. Yet it was no gift freely given. The eternal sword was bound by mystery, a weapon that would never fall into the hands of the unworthy. Those who held it were not only armed with unmatched power, but burdened with the destiny of nations. Generations spoke of it in hushed tones. Some called it a blessing sent from the heavens, while others whispered of it as a curse, for every ruler who had once possessed it rose swiftly in strength, only to fall into ruin. It was as if the sword itself carried not only power, but a price too great for any mortal to bear. The first wielder of the eternal sword was King Arden, a warrior unlike any other, a man whose courage was said to strike fear into invading armies. When he discovered the blade, he was young, bold, and pure of heart. With the sword in his hand, he united broken tribes under one banner, defeated kingdoms that had long enslaved his people, and built a realm of peace that stretched farther than the eye could see. His people called him chosen by the gods, the hand destined to carry the eternal sword. But power is a dangerous companion. What begins in humility can end in pride. In the later years of his reign, Arden's heart grew restless. No enemy could challenge him, no man could match him, and soon he began to believe he was greater than the very gods who had gifted him the blade. Legends say that one fateful night, Arden lifted the eternal sword to the heavens and proclaimed himself immortal, declaring that he had no need for the gods any longer. In that very moment, the skies darkened, and thunder roared as a storm unlike any other swept across his palace. Lightning struck, fire consumed his halls, and the kingdom trembled. By dawn, Arden was gone, his palace reduced to ruins. The eternal sword vanished, leaving only a haunting echo. The eternal sword belongs not to kings, but to destiny. Centuries passed, and the sword reappeared, not in the hands of a king or a warrior, but in the grasp of a simple wanderer named Elira. She was no queen, no conqueror, only a shepherd's daughter who carried neither crown nor title. Yet the moment her fingers touched the hilt, the sword glowed with a soft golden light, as though it had been waiting for her. With it, she defended helpless villages from merciless raiders, brought justice to the oppressed, and restored peace to clans that had long lived in bitter rivalry. Unlike the kings who had claimed the sword for glory, Elira carried it with humility. When people knelt before her, calling her chosen, she only shook her head and said, "I am not the master of this blade. It is the master of me." Her reign was not one of pride, but of service. And just as mysteriously as it had appeared, one day the sword was gone. No one knew if the gods had reclaimed it or if it still lay hidden in forgotten lands, waiting for another hand worthy enough to bear its weight. And so the eternal sword slipped once more into legend. To this day, songs are still sung about its power, and myths echo of its return. Some believe it will appear again in the world's final great battle, when light and darkness clash for the last time. Others believe it was never truly a sword at all, but a symbol, a reminder that the greatest power is not in the weapon we wield, but in the heart that guides it. Even now, kings, treasure hunters, and dreamers alike still search for it. They scour mountains, dive into oceans, and march into forgotten ruins, each believing they might be the one to claim its strength. But perhaps the true mystery is not where the sword lies, but who it is waiting for. And so the legend endures. The eternal sword is not given to those who seek power, but to those chosen by destiny.